Alright guys, we're back with another update. Let me fill you guys on in to what's going on and where we're at. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If this is your first video, please go back to some of the other videos so you can catch up to where we're at, so you can see exactly what's going on, and you just have a better understanding of where we're at and what's going on. Unless you're very experienced, you can tap right in and see exactly what's going on, and that's fine as well. I think it's important that you guys know what day it is and how far along we are in this game. We're at day 27. Right now our coalition is in 4th place. And let me just let you see how we're looking overall here. Okay, so we pretty much got Australia taken care of. We got one more nation, which is Canberra, and once we deal with Canberra, we will have the entire continent of Australia. And so right now I'm just going to take my time. I don't want to rush explaining what's going on. I want to take my time so you can get yourself some popcorn, get yourself something to drink, get you a snack, because we're going to take our time. We're not going to rush this. We're going to break everything down real good so that anybody watching this can get a good understanding. Now, first and foremost, I like to at least acknowledge my coalition. When you playing this game, you do want to know what your teammates are doing, what their strategies are, and how you can assist. So let's deal with Mindanao over here. Right now, look like he about to close this entire area out here. And I think Mindanao is also here as well, in this area. Okay. Now, let me just talk about something here that I thought was kind of interesting. You have Mindanao here, and then you have my other coalition member, Perth. Perth is over here as well. So what I find interesting about this is that I believe there was a little disagreement between Mindanao and Perth about who would take this area here, because they both kind of came into this area at the same time. And what I was happy to see was that it seemed like they were able to make a compromise. As you can see, you got Perth here, you got Mindanao here. It seemed like they was able to make a compromise. I didn't have to mediate the situation. They both understood that they would have to work together in regards to these provinces as we move forward. So I think sometimes we can have like a real solitary mindset, and it's hard to break away from that and get into a team mindset, because we're always thinking, this type of game, you're always thinking somebody's trying to do something behind you, sneaky or backstabbing. So you do have to watch out for people's intentions in this game. But I think Mindanao did a good job of securing some independence here. It's always good that you can have a continent to yourself, where if anything, this is like his homeland here, and now he can just expand and do what he needs to do, because at least he knows he has a base. So I'm thinking maybe that's kind of what Perth wants, is like some kind of base. Maybe he wanted this whole area here just to say, okay, I got something that no one else is occupying. And I understand that, but you have to think fast. Like in that situation, I would have said, well, Perth could have came here a lot sooner. While we were doing stuff in here, like when I jetted off and came to Cairns, and came to this area here early in the game. I didn't wait. So some stuff you have to, and you'll learn that through experience, is that, maybe I don't want to wait to start making moves in other directions, just because that's how we get comfortable. Our minds, sometimes if we're here and we're trying to build and build and build in this area, we don't think, hey, maybe I need to just take a chance and send 40 troops up this way. Maybe it'll hurt me now because I want those troops, now to fight and get the little provinces. But it's also sometimes important to take a loss by sending troops to different areas so that they can start to, because it's a long game. And a lot of times people don't understand, one of the biggest disadvantages that we all have in this game is time. These troops take a long time to travel. So if you could think from that standpoint, then that means, okay, if I can send some guys out early while I'm busy doing something else, that'll kill a lot of time. And by the time I look up, they'll be in the area that I want them to be. And that takes experience, and that does take calculation. So just going back to a situation where Mindanao and Perth was kind of vying for this area here, I would say it's first come, first serve. And if someone has already fought and taken enemy off the land, then in a way that, my thing is, they've already claimed that land. But you have to get there first. You can't claim, I don't believe you can claim land that you're not even close to it. You can't just say, hey, I want this right here and this right here, and you're not even nowhere near it. You have to already be engaged in battle on a province for me to respect and say, okay, I'll leave that alone, because you're already there fighting and clearing the land out. So I thought that was important to break that down, and that's why I stayed out of that conflict between, well, it wasn't a conflict, but of course you have to step in if you see your two teammates getting too, rowdy, but they didn't get too rowdy. I'm hoping maybe they had a discussion, or they just saw that, hey, you know what? We both just need to share this area and move forward. And so I'm glad to see that that's what's going on. Perth just sent me a message about going towards Asia. Well, let's go back to this. He says, Perth asked me, any tips for me currently? I've been watching your videos for a while, and it's made me much better. But do you have any personal tips for me? And I told him, patience and diplomacy. Very important. Patience and diplomacy. This is not a speed game. And unless you enter a game saying, I'm going to win this game solo, first of all, you need to understand, I play two different styles. If I'm playing to win the game solo, I have a much more cutthroat style of playing. But if I'm going to play a team game, then I must have diplomacy. I must understand that word. You have to work together with people. You have to trust people. You have to help your teammates. You have to take some losses sometimes in order to help your teammates. But that doesn't mean you have to be weak either. Because that also can hurt your ability to be diplomatic with people. Because some people won't respect diplomacy with you if you're weak. So it goes both ways. But my advice to him was just be patient in diplomacy. And if I could add one on, I would say also think ahead. So I hope that answered his question. Then I also thought about it and I said, you also need to buy coal while it's cheap and max out on oil production. And I say that because he needed some oil, so I sent him some oil, to help him out, and let me just show you guys something. What I do. Let me show you what I do. And I should charge you guys for this information. I'm going to break down how I'm able to accumulate the resources that I need to do the things that I need to do. You must understand how your resources work, guys. If you don't understand your resources, then you're going to be in a dilemma, because your resources is what fuels everything that you're trying to do. So you can't forget about it. You can't underestimate it. Everything in this game matters. And that's why I do these videos, because sometimes you may be very good in one area, but you're missing something in a totally other area. And it's because sometimes we have that lazy brain thing going on, where we like to do the things we're good at, and we don't like to think about, well, what's this button about? What's espionage? Some people know nothing about espionage and how it works. But somebody like myself who fully understands it, I'll use it against you. And by the time you figure it out, it may be too late in that game. And you have to wait for another game to be able to utilize that skill. And that's where, experience does come into play. So let's take a moment and let's go through the resources. And I'll explain to you how I can maintain my resources and have $1 million here, almost 200,000 in oil, 500,000 in coal, 50,000 in gas and counting. Everything else is in the green. But if you notice, my coal here production is in the red. I'll show you why this is the case, but why is this red but I got 500,000 in coal? I'll show you and explain to you how you have to have be able to balance your resources. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you guys as we speak. Because I think this is very important. If any of my coalition members are watching, this is what you guys, it may be too late now because some stuff has already, the prices of resources have went up already, but it may not be too late. You may still have time to take advantage of this information that I'm about to break down. Okay, so for right now, let's just look at all we got here. We got gas, oil, coal, wood, metal, fish, grain, and money. Okay, let's start off by let me just saying this. In the beginning of the game, anytime you start a new game, you want to come to the stock market. The stock market is where you balance and you see the value. You don't balance, I'm sorry, but you see the value of each one of these resources. You go to the stock market, right? You want to see what the food price is, what's the fish prices, what's the metal prices, right? I got $1 million here. Let me see what I can afford to pay for while it's cheap. That's what the stock market is. You buy low, you sell high. Some of y'all don't understand you can make money in the stock market. I know maybe some of you've never thought about it that way, but yes, you can make money through the stock market. So if you don't have a lot of provinces, okay, go to the stock market. Now, we're in the stock market. Let me check the price of all the goods. I've seen situations, guys, where you could literally make money in this stock market instantly. This is how you make money instantly, is when you buy grain. The highest is, well, the lowest grain you can buy right now is 9.2. And it's 4,949 for sale. 9.2. You can sell it right now for 8.7. So there's no immediate money here. 8.4, 7.2. So I can buy it right now if I need it for 8.4, or if I have so much of it, I can sell it for 7.2. And as you go down, you get less money for if you want to sell it, less money. And if you go down here, you got to pay more. So this is the least amount you're going to pay for it. But I've seen it where it's been less here. And it's been I can buy it for less than selling it. So I could immediately buy something for like $4 in grain and sell it for $5 because somebody wasn't paying attention. So that does happen in the stock market. I don't mean to confuse you, but just wanted to make that understood that you can make money instantly sometimes. Okay? But that's not what I want you to focus on right now. What I want you to focus on is just the price points. So right now, grain is averaged around $9. Fish, $8. Metal, $15, $16. Lumber, about $13. Okay, that's about the average that you're going to pay for that right now. And then if you want to sell it, you can sell it for about 13 bucks. You can sell it for about 11 bucks. So you're not going to really make a big profit right now, but that's not bad. Right now, 15 for iron. That's not expensive, but it's not cheap. As well as 12.6 for lumber. That's not expensive, but that's not cheap. This is where you're going to end up making your money and end up helping yourself out, is in the energy area. Now let's pay attention to this. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. You got coal, oil, gas. I don't care. When the game starts, the oil can be the cheapest thing, the cheapest resources. It could be the cheapest resource in the stock market. Buy it. Because one thing I'm going to tell you about oil, it is going to jack up. I think in the beginning of this game, oil was like $8. Now look at it. It's $24 a piece. So always know oil is going to go up. It's going to go up. So you can count on, if it's cheap, buy it. And what is oil? What do I mean by if it's cheap? I mean, even if it's under $10, I would buy it in the beginning of the game. Because once it gets to this point, it's just going to keep going up. Then it's just going to max out at 30. So this is not going to go down. So you need to understand that you must try to accumulate as much oil as you can when it's cheap. Now it is expensive. 24.2 is expensive for oil. As you can see, the gas is still at 8.3, and that's going to keep going up as well. Right now, though, the coal is only 4.3. Why is that important? Why is that important? And I hope this ain't too much math for some of y'all. As you can see, I have 500,000 in coal, and I have a deficit of 1,436 per hour. So I'm losing 1,436 pieces of coal every hour. Now, it's only 4.3. Let me give you guys a little secret. I've been buying it at 3.1, 3.0 since the beginning of the game. And now you see how much I've accumulated at this point. And you may say, well, how does that help you when it comes to the oil and the gas? This is how it helps you. Because I bought so much coal, I can afford. It's going to take a long time for me to run out of coal. At 1,436 per hour, that's about 300 hours before I run out of coal. And I'll just buy some more cheap coal. I got $1 million. But what I want you guys to see is now I need to balance this out, because now I know how much everything costs, right? So now that I know how much everything costs, I'm going to go to my resources, and let's go down here and see. As you can see, I can change this. I can go up and down with my resources and balance out my energy. Your energy is one section. So you got the coal, the oil, and the gas. I have my gas maxed out, oil maxed out, but I got my coal all the way down. No production. I'm in the negative as far as producing coal. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because coal is so cheap, I can just buy it versus producing it. Because if I want to produce coal, watch this, guys. Let's say I want to get the coal in the green here, and I can produce, let's just say, instead of losing 1,400 in coal, I can gain 172 in coal, and everything will be balanced. You'll see everything is green, right? But then look how much oil I'm producing now. I'm only producing 113 oil because I balanced it out. But if I max out my oil and I just lose out on the coal, I come back to the stock market and I say, well, I'd rather produce 1,721 oil because I can sell it for 22 and just buy. Oh, look at this, guys. Somebody just put more coal up there for 3.5, 6,000 of it. Are we going to buy it? Of course. It ain't cost me but $23,000. Now I got that. And see how that works, guys? And really, guys, right now, because the oil has went up so high, this is now considered cheap. This coal is considered cheap right now. But I want to buy it, but I want to just wait because they're going to keep going lower because it's so cheap right now. People, they're going to continue to put more on the market for cheap prices. And I don't want to buy it at 4.3 when I've been buying it at under 4.0. I've been buying it for 3.1, 3.3, 3.6 that you just seen. That's why I bought it immediately. So somebody is selling their coal for super cheap. And when they sell their coal for super cheap like that, I buy it. I add on to my stock, and that gives me more room to keep this all the way down here, so that, but I don't hurt my economy or my morale, because I still have enough to cover my daily needed, what I need for on a daily basis. So this is enough coal to last me for probably about a week or so. So as long as I continue to buy it cheap and bring it in, I can continue to max out on my oil production, which allows me to sell my oil if I want to. Now, I'm not selling any oil because I need it for my own production like everybody else, because you need to build your army. You need to build your airplanes and everything else with oil. So I'm not selling it, but unless it's one of my coalition members needs some. But I hope my coalition members paying attention to this so they can learn how to maximize their production and still maybe come on over here and buy some of this cheap coal while it's still cheap, because the coal is going to keep going up as well, very slowly. It's not going to go up as fast as the oil and the gas, but it's going to creep up because people are going to catch on to what I'm telling you, and they're going to end up having to buy the coal, and then the coal is end up going to it's going to start ending up costing a lot of money, because people are going to recognize, well, I can increase my oil production by buying more coal and just lowering my coal production. But after a while, it does catch up to the game, and the coal end up being expensive as well. I've seen all three at max out 30 per resource. So it will get to that point. But right now, I mean, this is super cheap for coal, even 4.3 when you consider how much the oil is. That is super cheap. All right. So I took some time to explain that because very important. Very important. As you can see, as far as my grains and my fish, let me balance that out. I'm getting 993 fish per hour, but I'm only getting 44 in grain. No, let's balance that out so my grains can catch up, but that's doing pretty good. And then my wood and my lumber, they're both on the same page, so that's pretty good. They 1,000 here, 1,200 here. I got 10,000 in metal, 5,000 in. Now, what I learned about the metal and the wood, sometimes it starts off extremely expensive, but as the game go on, this is what I find interesting. The metal and the lumber gets extremely cheap as the game go on. Like right now it's kind of expensive, but it gets cheap as the game go on. And then these guys get more expensive as the game go on. So that's a very something that you may need to write down. The energy will get expensive as the game go on, and the metal and the wood will get cheaper. So some people make a mistake and stock up on the wood and the metal, and you'll have all this wood and metal and it won't even be worth nothing. Nobody will even buy it, but for very, very dirt cheap. So I thought that's a good piece of knowledge to know about that. All right, so now let's talk about some of my other coalition members here. We talked about Perth. Like I said, Perth is on his way to, he's en route to Asia. He asked me about attacking attacking this Asian continent. He said that his growth is slowing. Let's go back to that. When your coalition member sends you a message, I think it is important to respond, because that's how we stay on the same page. He says, hey man, my growth is slowing down a lot. Should I go and start my actions into Asia already? And I told him maybe look at getting into Asia through Burma. And so Burma is right here, because I don't want you to go up in the over here or over here, because you may not be able to get in that area too easily, because those are pretty large nations. But Burma seems to be pretty small, and even Assam. Let me send them that. Well, I'll send that later. So that would be my advice to Perth, is to try to get into Asia through Burma. So that's Mindanao, and I would say, you know, it would be a good time for him and Mindanao to come up with something together and then head towards Burma, because that would give him a better opportunity, because two brains is better than one, and we're a team. So I think I'm going to send him that advice is to work together with Mandaniah so we can get up in that area. Now let's look at some of my smaller coalition members like Sydney, Port Macquarie, and Brisbane. I'm gonna start with Brisbane. Let me see where he's at. Yeah, Brisbane is still moving. He's still moving. I think he has gotten himself up this way here. He has. And so once we break into Asia, that's going to help Brisbane out a lot, because he needs to grow as well. But I like Brisbane because Brisbane at least is giving initiative and he's putting in the time, and I'm sure he's learning from this map. So I like what Brisbane is doing, and hopefully once we get to Asia, we can allow Brisbane to get some land and just kind of help him expand so he can get some more resources. Because this is still a early game, guys, so we still have plenty of time to get stronger and help some of our coalition members get stronger. So this is one of those games where you just have to be patient. Let's take a look here. We'll get to that in a minute. My next guy that I'm looking at is Port Macquarie. I believe I sent Port Macquarie a message and he has not responded. So I said, are you still here? And I haven't gotten a response. So it looks like Port Macquarie may be, I may have to remove him from the coalition at some point. But I don't like to do that so quickly, guys. So I'm going to give him a little time to respond, because I'm not in a rush to kick him out. There's no need to rush. But we'll give him some time. Sydney again. Thing about Sydney is that Sydney said he was not going to be available for another week or so because he had school work to do. And so one thing about that doesn't mean we stop our progress in what our goal is. Our goal is to take over and this entire continent. So that's why I went ahead and made the initiative to come down in this area. Now we have one more area, which is Canberra, and I'm mobilizing troops at this time to deal with that. As you can see, I have 6 airplanes already here ready to deal with Canberra. Just being patient about it, and just trying to take the initiative, because a lot of times people don't understand that this game is a matter of time, and time is of the essence. So while we can sympathize with people having other things to do, in the real world, at the same time, we have to respect the nature of the game and the time sensitive nature of the game. So, that's just the way the game goes. We can't make exceptions in that area. We have to be realistic about the time nature of a game like this. So when it comes to Sydney, I hope he get on board, and I would like for him to go ahead and attack Canberra, and I'd help him acquire these provinces so we can move forward. But that's something I will send him a message about that, so we can see about how we can get him these provinces, and let's move to the next stage. Port Macquarie, again, I haven't heard from him, so we may need to consider releasing Port Macquarie from the coalition, but I have not made that decision at this time. As you can see, I have conquered this entire continent, which was, if you go back to my first video, that was the goal. That was the goal, guys. That's why experience will teach you how to make these type of moves early. And as you can see, voila, I got this entire continent and many of the islands that surround it. I think I got maybe one more to get here, and we got pretty much all of these islands here. And I think I'm done as far as moving out, because I don't want to be too far away from my homeland. I may look and see what this is here, North Honshu. So yeah, that's it. That's North Honshu, so we're not going to attack that. So we're here with it, and we're going to bring all of my boats that I have out here. I'm going to bring them down in this area to help me deal with this Otago here. We're going to try to take this entire area here. So I got guys coming down here. I got my boats attacking, doing some shelling, and I only have I'm limited here as far as soldiers, so we're gonna have to just hold our ground until we can get more reinforcements in, as you can see. As you can see, he's probably about to bring him here, so we should be good to go there. But yes, we need to get these guys on board as soon as possible. As you can see, they'll be right in time to get that province. I don't know what I did right here. That was a mistake. I probably shouldn't even. I think I put a timer on it and the time may have ran out. And I also want to try to go ahead and snatch this area down here as well. That's another part of the reason why I got these airplanes here. So I just need to bring some boats down, and we'll try to clear that area as well. All right, so I try to make this video a little bit more extensive, try to give you guys a little bit of jewels that you can use to better your performance in this game. Any questions, any tips you may want, the best thing you can do is follow the videos so that you can be specific about what you may need to learn about this game. But also comment and ask me any questions you may want to know. If it's about espionage, if it's about coalitions, if it's about how to use these, what are these for, these areas here, how to use your airplanes, airplane techniques and strategies, what's the best way to fight this or that. So what's the best defense mechanism you can use? I have all the little technical I like technical questions. This is a technical game, so don't be afraid to ask me something that you think may be challenging or you think I may not have the answer to it. Give me a shot at it. All right, leave a comment, subscribe, like the videos, and stay tuned. Okay, later.